Now, I thought I was recording, and it looks like I wasn't recording. So I really don't know how much was recorded and how much wasn't recorded. So, this is a little frustrating for me at the moment. Man. The people in this world that pressured you to take the jab, in many cases, didn't know what they were talking about. I don't want the people that took the jab to die, and I don't believe that everybody that took the jab is going to die. However, there is a new event coming, and a lot of people have been brainwashed into hating those of us that question what we were told. So I'm not saying that everybody that took the jab is going to die, but there is mass media pressure. And if I was in a place that I consider to be enjoyable, if I was around, like, say, friends in a community, I would tell you a lot more about my views on the health event and my life the last 4 years. But it isn't until I get to what I would consider to be a safe place in America that I tell what the radio host in the 80s used to say was the rest of the story. Okay, so I'll tell the rest of the story about my American nightmare experience from 2020 to the present day, and why I am angry at you, at America and the world, and why I'm totally fine with God destroying us all at this point. In a hellfire missile attack, asteroid. I was totally against it before, but when COVID happened, I was ready to die with you. I was ready for us all just to be wiped off the map. Because this is not the real us, this world. This world is an illusion. Many of you, though, you think it's the real world, even though you saw the Matrix. So you're obsessed 24/7 with terrorists, Hamas, brown folks, and white genocide. But yet, when I address the white genocide and the anti-white racism and the attacks on whites and white women, you don't even email me or thank me, or say sorry for calling me anti-white. So I know many of you are Satanists, even if you're smiling and your smile is now turned to a frown. No, go fuck yourself. I have backed you 24/7 for years and have stepped against anti-white hatred. And I know I have Nazi stalkers. Unless you want to email me and say, Alex, we used to be Nazi stalkers, now we like you. You're not sending that email. And if you are sending that email and it's not getting to me, then they are deleting it. And you need to get a new profile if you're blocked and message me just like Search for the Truth can through the Facebook, but you haven't done that. Nor Twitter. And what am I getting on Twitter? I'm getting spammed by a Jewish guy who hates me, who's calling me racist. Keith called me racist. And yet I have promoted Keith, who's Jewish, and I've stepped against Jewish hate, and a Jew hates me. So I'm telling you guys, you can't defend Jews and immigrants and refugees before yourself. You have to defend yourself first in your own value, and then you can go out and defend others. And so a lot of you were thrown off by the fact that I was asserting my own self, and you're confusing me asserting my own value with me being and assuming I'm like open borders and pro like great replacement theory. I'm not pro great replacement theory, and I acknowledge replacement theory is happening to me and you. It's not just happening to white America. I was replaced by white people. Your current understanding of replacement theory is toxic. I, as a brown man, was replaced by white people from California. So if you're white in California, you have no place to even think in your mind that I'm a victim and that my existence here on the earth represents a replacement of you when you and your people replaced me, right? And we have my people, the Nagls, going up into Alaska, being exported up. But why? Why? Now, I did not hit stop. I did not hit stop when I hit record a half hour ago. The computer did that. So, the time has come to tell you a little story. The A-Man speculated for years that a lot of my mother's mental problems may have come about from her being raped by a guy named Phil Nagl, N-A-G-L, who lives up in Alaska. P-H-I-L, N-A-G-L, right? Now, my mother may have extreme mental illness, schizophrenia, voices in the head, whatever genetic thing that you sense in me that may not be quite aligned is not on the Ansary line. It's on the Nagl side. Bruce has dyslexia. He gets things backwards, but yet he's a MacGyver genius with cars, but he's a retard when it comes to race relations. He would joke often about Asian people wondering if their vaginas were slit like their eyes. It's amazing the A-Man didn't just knock him out. Sometimes I actually thought the A-man was feminized. Bro, face the truth. Not only were you super, super badass, you seem to be okay with racists that hated Asians. I just have to kind of like spit that out. Like, that's the part of you that I didn't think was so manly. Knowing that you rolled with dudes that were racist, that used the N-word and used the N-word all the time. And you and Quentin both laughed and made fun of me ethnically and said people like me were buttfuckers. You and Quentin Sandvig, who's now in the streets of Portland, joked about me being a homo when I'm not homo, saying that people of my heritage, historically, according to the Bible, are faggots. And then you had the gall to lecture me about confidence. Anyways, if you want me to think that you were like the ultimate deal, you told me a lot of stories, but let me tell you what would have impressed me. First of all, at minimum, at least slapping my dad. Put on a ninja mask, don't let him know your identity, and teach my dad a lesson for kicking my ass in 1992. That's one thing you should have done. Through all your gangsterism and beating up the Crips and Bloods and, you know, stripping them naked in the car and doing the whole samurai sword thing to the Asian gangsters who hired you to put the fear into a guy when you got out of the joint and you put on the tattoos and you went, and the guy went, and ran out screaming. Never fuck with those dudes again. Awesome story, bro. I'm totally going to make an AI animation once you pass on with all those stories. Which is why I encourage you to write new stories to me that show the more heroic aspects of your life. Not just the A-Team, Hunter, you know, Miami Vice, Bolo Young. But Bolo Young even played a hero a few times. Shoot Fighter, TC 2000. He played a hero a few times. I want you to play hero with me. Lie to me. Lie to me if you lied to me in the past. Lie to me and make me believe you're a hero. Kiss me before you fuck me. So, the guy by the name of Don, who hung out with Bruce Nagl, who looked like Hulk Hogan, big head of hair, didn't lift, but had a build. Like, he could tear up some shit, but I don't ever believe he lifted. He was just naturally ripped. That dude should have been knocked out. When I stood up to him and asserted my value to Don in front of Bruce Nagl when they were filling my body full of methamphetamines, you should have drove down there and threatened to burn the dude's house down. Bruce. Like, my mother should have flown in and she should have walked up to her brother and said, "Hey, brother," and wham, kicked him right up in the balls. She should have kicked him so hard that he should have had to go to the hospital. Bruce Nagl, okay, I'm sentencing Bruce Nagl and maybe some of his family to homelessness in a future dystopian Portland. Okay, until he repents before Jesus for his sin of ripping off his dad. Okay, Bruce Nagl ripped off Morris Nagl. He stole thousands of dollars of silver coins from the guy. And Bruce Nagl, you know, due to white power, what a guy that Morris is. He made sure that all his kids were taken care of. And he made sure that when he passed, that I'd even have enough for a Happy Meal. And here's what's crazy about it. So he neglected to discipline and whip his kids. Right? And so they all went nuts. And the woman went nuts on me with discipline and shit. The whole Law and Order thing. I'm going to take away your allowance and teach you poverty consciousness. She taught me to be poor early on. My mom. Here's your allowance, now I'm taking away. So I learned to develop a poor brain. If you haven't learned about the poor brain, type in, can poverty be taught from childhood? Through experiences. So my mother, being possessed by demons, was teaching me to have a impoverished consciousness as a child by taking child support money that should have gone to my hands to teach me how to manage money. When the A-man picked me up for my 13th birthday, we had a little secret that we didn't share with dear mommy. He knew my mother was torturing me. Why he continued to sleep with her, I don't know. Carnalism. He had carnal issues. Looking at him, he has sex demons, the A-man. You know it, bro. You know I'm psychic now, right? If you don't know I'm psychic, you're not as smart as you portrayed yourself to be. I'm psychic. I see right through you. I see right through you and why you threw me away and why you still have thrown me away. You could have helped me this last year and given me detailed instructions on saving the world and shit because you're such a badass, right? But you won't because you're afraid you're going to make Satan angry. You're afraid that if you were to embrace the light and be a defense of Earth, that you're going to upset your former masters. That's why I think you're sick. I don't think you have a natural disposition towards sickness. I am of the perception that whatever happened has to do with karma. I'm not attacking you by saying that. There is no way that God would ever let me do what you did to others, what Bruce Nagl did to others, maybe even what my mom did to other men. I don't know. She's keeping secrets. She won't say who she's been dating the last 20 years, who took her around the world to the Knights Templar ruins in Europe and all that stuff. There's some sort of moneybag man who's some sort of mafiosa, pimp, somebody who's been talking to my mom. Okay, unless she could say, dude, you're nuts. I've totally been like a monk for 20 years. There's not been a pimp-like energy since Alan Rezek, you know. But that dude, if he was so good, tell me why he's so good. You're hiding the story from me because you're ashamed. You moved in with that man who hurt me, but you won't say it verbally. Alex, I'm sorry. I moved you into that apartment with that dude who was basically a dude who chipped my tooth and threw me against the wall. So if you actually love your little boy, you would actually say, yeah, that dude, that guy in Queens should be in jail. And I called the cops on him. Why would you, Mom, not tell me what that guy did to you in Queens? Why would you and I not have like a mother-son conversation about Alan in New York? And then you went to Florida, and then you went to other places after that. Kansas City, Montana, North Dakota. From that bad experience. Thailand? I've never even been outside of America. And you and my dad have like been all around the world and the A-man. And the only person who took me anywhere without abusing me on a trip with Carl was your dad. And he took me to Reno. It was your dad. Your dad is the only person who ever did anything to take me anywhere. The A-man would just hold up the fact that I was a minor above my head and say, I'm not taking you out to bars because, you know, you're not worthy enough because you're young. And once I became old enough, then he was done with me. He still talks to me like he actually cares about me or something. It's just amazing, bro. No, your friends were like borderline, you know what I'm saying? And you know all your friends looked at me like I wasn't even a human being, including your bodybuilder buddy, who I know you like more than me. The bodybuilder guy who has the portrait of George Bush, who killed millions of people like me. So don't act like you're my friend if you're simultaneously friends with people that are admirers of mass murderers. Bro, in your last years on Earth, you need to wake up because you're starting to upset me. All of you have upset me greatly to the point where I'm willing to die for my beliefs. I'm willing to go out in the street and be homeless. I'm not going to sit here every day and be silent about what I'm going through here in this reality. We are literally, I'm going to die, you are going to die. When we're going to die, I don't know. But all of you that bought this official story regarding the vaccine, okay, don't know what you're doing. And all of you at the same time that want the vax to die, you don't know what you're saying, bro. So, the A-man did speculate for years that something happened to my mother at the farm. And I just want to be clear that this guy by the name of Phil Nagl, who didn't discipline his kids, is someone that I do suspect of doing something horrifying on that land, but my mom's not speaking about whatever happened in the barn. She knows I'm psychic because I told her I know something happened in that barn on the 40 acres. So was it Morris having sex with you? Was it Bruce? Was it Bruce and his friends doing a gangbang with some girl who didn't want to from Aurora? Like, what is it? Stop acting like your brothers are saints. Your brothers are porn addict dipshits, okay? That's why Anna Nagl became a heroin addict. That's why Anna Nagl got molested by whoever did whatever they did to her in Oregon. It's because of her parents, lady. Stop projecting onto the Ansaries in the foreign world the abuse of women and look at your own family. If your dad was so awesome, why did you leave your dad? Why did you leave Oregon? If the East Coast was so awesome and loving, and if ballet was so open and non-discriminatory as you seem to say it is, then why did Oregon judge you when you were short and old? If ballet doesn't discriminate, then the real reason was to get away from me. Then, okay, so ballet doesn't discriminate. So the real reason then you went to New York was to get away from me because you were ashamed you brought me, because they punished you. for bringing it. This is why white women can't come to me and fornicate and bring a child in, because they will be viciously attacked and adulterated for even thinking that my DNA is worth preserving. You were attacked because you brought to life the golden child. And you know this is true, but because of institutional white supremacy within your bloodline, Bruce saying you'll never be a Nagl, you can't see that light in me because your genetic code will not allow it. Okay? So you can see amazing abilities sexually in another man who's not white, as long as they're not your son. So it's like, come on, ride the train. And what a strong, strong man. What a brave, brave woman. When you're talking about the woman in Romania that interviewed, no, what a strong, strong son you have. What a supernaturally strong son you have. Not former lover in 1982, right? Who was a bad boy and a good boy and a bad boy and a good boy. It just depends what day of the week it was and whether you were on his good side or not a good side. But it's your son, actually, that had the supernatural abilities. It's your son, actually, that has the power, right? Former lovers and hot chicks on Romanian TV aside, it's your son that's abnormally gifted. It's your son who is the only man of God that I'm aware of. Okay, now if you want to write me a letter and say you're wrong about Carlos Simonton, he was right about everything, even you, Alex. He should have threw your ass out the window. Then just write me the letter via mail and send it. Carl was right, I was wrong, he should have thrown me out the window. No, are you saying that he was justified? That's two men that you've had threaten me. Alan in New York, Rezek, and then Carl Simonton. You have two men that threatened to murder me. The A-man just got upset when I lied about doing drugs because he knew nothing about recovery, being someone that rubbed elbows with dope heads himself. So he was just freaked out, bro. He was just freaked out. And he's like, bro, you lie to me, I'll knock your ass out, bro. I'll just kick your ass. Okay, I gotta go. Boing! Because it was sore maximum and I wasn't ready to quit. But what'd Bruce do when I moved into Grandpa's house? What did Bruce do to take me to an AA meeting? Bruce went through my stuff, and he found the needles, and he chopped the needles up, and then he hung the needles from the bathroom that Grandpa built for me. And so basically, instead of realizing that I had a drug problem, and instead of your family being spiritual and knowing anything about the sun, do they even know if the sun even exists? I mean, I know that you're aware that the sun exists, but every time I try to tell you that I knew about the sun, what would you say for years and years and years? You would kick me in the balls and say, we don't really know anything about the sun, Alex. And you never, ever said that you acknowledged that I am brave for exposing 9/11. You won't do that. But you'll go to Kerry Cassidy and Alex Jones and masturbate to their 9/11 content. But when your son exposes 9/11 and you fornicated with a man from that region that was blamed for 9/11, you don't have that crown chakra go off and go, bing! Ascension, 5D, activation, bing! My son's the golden child of those people. You can't do that. But you can go, wow, what a sexy Indian man. You think I forgot those pictures from 1978 that you kept around the house? You kept pictures of Indian dudes that you dated around the farm even after you left my dad. I remember a picture. Who's that guy that you saw in the 70s who had the turban, other than my dad? Who's that guy? Was that Osho? Because, see, when my dad said he was afraid that you would join the Osho cult, I thought that he was a misogynist and that he hated you and he was nuts. My mother would never join a cult. You're an idiot, dude. Now I'm 44 and I'm like, oh, shit. Oh, man. While my dad had a bad rap and he allegedly was going to kidnap me and take me to Afghanistan to fight the Russians and all this shit, the darker story has never been told of whatever my dad went through. Yeah, he beat my mom, but how bad? Okay, he has not yet been accused of sexual assault and beating her into the hospital. It may have been like something that some of you may have done out of anger. In fact, maybe even I joined you in your Nazism and kicked my dad when he was down because he was a drunk foreigner. I think that's the truth, isn't it? We all kind of beat up on my dad and went, oh, poor woman, but we weren't actually there to see whatever she said or did to him. We didn't actually get my dad's side of the story, did we? No, we just got the woman's side of the story. We didn't see. And so, yes, he may have done something. He may have raised his fist and been a drunk, but how many other people in Portland were doing that too? And so he lost all access to me for years. And so she, to get back at him, destroyed me as a baby while acting like she was bringing me up in the Ascension New Age movement. So, Sean Nagl is the son. You could take a look at how big he is. That's my flesh, folks. That's my white man side. Go look at my white man side. Sean Nagl is the name in Alaska. Go look at that build. That's Hulk Hogan, bro. But I'll tell you what, this fist will knock that dude down in 10 seconds. Come see me, Sean Nagl. Come see me. I blame you and your dad and your mom and even my grandpa a little bit for what happened to David. I'm going to find you when we're dead and we're back in spirit form for what you attempted to do to me in 1982 or 3, right? When you develop the voices in your head and you begin to hallucinate things, apparently. This was told to me while I was on toxic medications several years ago while quitting cannabis. And my mother's like forcing this down my throat when I'm telling her to stop talking to me. And she's like, no, I'm going to traumatize you while you're on drugs. You're going to hear this. Your uncle, because my mother was like, wow, I didn't do anything to you. I don't know what's wrong with you, but whatever's going on with you and like this like mental stuff, like it has to do with your childhood. I didn't do nothing to you, bro. It was your uncle. And she's wrong. It was you, lady. But now you're telling me about my uncle on top of what you did to me. So thank you, but no, it was you, honey. No, it wasn't the past life in Nazi Germany when we were Jews and we were killed. And you hid me in the hole, according to the psychic who told you that I was killed in Nazi Germany. No, it wasn't the past life trauma, lady. It was this trauma. You're a nutter for ever thinking to delete that guy's psychic vision. That's nuts. Everything that dude told you about that Nazi thing, you should have documented, made photocopies, along with every single photo album. That's not normal, lady, for you to get rid of your photo album of your children and every accurate bit of psychic data that was given to you. Maybe for a decent cost. Like, you need to expel the Carrie Cassidy frequency, this 5D ascension. No, you need to align with Christ. You're already on the internet asking for Christians to pray for you. That's selfish. If you want God to intervene in here and here, you need to become Christian and get a Bible. You don't go and get the loose from other Christians that believe in Jesus to get them to do the collective manifestation, the unfortunate. If you believe in that, then why don't you support what I'm saying with the unfortunate? Why don't you ask me for a copy of the Magical Battle of Britain today? Today. She's a white woman from Europe who believe in spirituality. Why don't you like white women from Europe who are the real deal, who are against Hitler? Were you a Nazi in a past life? It's a serious question. Do you have soft feelings in your heart for Hitler? Because you have never supported me exposing Hitler. And you freaked out on me in the farm in Aurora when I came home with a book about Hitler because I was concerned about that dude. About his energy coming back, because he is back. In the same way that Terminator said, I'll be back, Hitler's back in a frequency. Hitler is here. He is a demigod. And he is being worshipped by the likes of folks that did things to me to drive me off of my off-grid land. And so because everybody now is going, you're a Nazi, you're a Nazi, you're a Nazi. If you talk to even leftists about being harassed or stalked by Nazis, they won't even respond because now everything and everyone's a Nazi. And so the allegations of racism due to the woke movement have lost all power. Anyone even suspecting that they have been experiencing racism will be thrown in the garbage instantly and psychically attacked. So I am attacked every day by some of you for just talking about my life. You don't give a shit about me. That's what's amazing. You come, you thumb up, you like it, go, bro, love the soul, we're talking coast to coast. Then I tell you that I've been brutalized by this world and I have an autobio cliff notes and you won't even look at it. So I'm going to be working on a fat cat book. That's going to be a knockout punch heavy hitter. It's going to be, folks, with your help, it's going to be this. And so when people one day go to the internet and they type in ANSAR, Ansary will come up. When they type in Ansar or Ansary, Alex Ansary and the teachings of Christ will come up. When they look in the direction of the Ansar, for whatever reason, at any time, they will find Alex Ansary and the light. And you are invited to make this happen. So, Sean Nagl is nothing. David Nagl was something. And David Nagl is dead. Whereas Sean Nagl is not. Sean Nagl went to prison, not Alex Ansary, because Sean Nagl is a violent thug. It's not because he's white, but he does happen to be white. But in the end, who is superior intellectually, spiritually, emotionally? Who has helped you? Who is more superior in helping you defend America from the people that hate you and want to kidnap your daughter? White man Hulk Hogan, Sean Nagl, or short brown man of mixed race heritage, Alex Ansary? So, Phil Nagl, you are sentenced to hell in the afterlife for attempting to have me taken away as a little baby by saying that I did something immoral to little Anna when it was you who did something to my mom, according to the A-Man.